Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something important. We're talking about making the most of your role if you're in educational support.
Exactly. So if you're maybe thinking about becoming a teaching assistant, or you're already a paraprofessional, maybe a behavior tech, these kinds of roles.
Vital roles. And our mission here is to kind of pull out the key ideas from what we've looked at to help you be more effective right now, and also think about what's next.
Yeah, maximizing potential both for the students you work with and for your own career path. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first up, understanding your impact. Sometimes these roles can feel a bit under the radar, maybe.
They can, but the reality is quite different. The impact is often profound, even if it's not always in the main spotlight.
You're often working so closely with students, right? One-on-one or small groups.
Precisely. And that closeness means you pick up on things. Subtle learning patterns, emotional cues, maybe barriers that a teacher leading a whole class might miss.
That personalized attention, I can see how that would be critical.
It really can be. Students often point to support staff as people who made a real difference for them, helped them over a hump.
And what about keeping things going when the main teacher is occupied?
Oh, that's huge. Instructional continuity. You step in, keep the learning moving. It prevents downtime, lost learning time. It's about keeping the whole classroom functioning smoothly.
So it's not just filling a gap, it's actively ensuring learning continues.
Exactly. And think about classroom culture. Through all those individual interactions, you're constantly modeling.
Modeling behavior, communication.
Yeah, all of it. How to communicate respectfully, how to approach learning challenges. It's a different kind of influence than whole group instruction, often more frequent for individual students.
And you're also gathering information, right? Like data.
Absolutely. Your observations during those small group or individual moments, that's incredibly valuable data. It tells the teacher what's landing, what's not, who needs more help.
So you're feeding back into the instructional loop, helping to refine things.
Precisely. It helps personalize the learning for everyone. It's a really active contribution.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense about the impact.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a bit. Professional relationships, how important are those?
Oh, fundamentally important for how well you do your job now and for future opportunities. We're talking colleagues, students, families, the whole network.
Let's start with colleagues, the lead teacher specialists. How do you build that partnership?
Well, professionalism is key. Reliability, taking initiative, but also asking good questions. Don't just wait for instructions.
What kind of questions?
Questions about the why. What's the main role of this activity? Or how does this connect to what they learned yesterday? It shows you're invested, you want to understand the bigger picture, not just tick boxes.
Yeah.
Demonstrates commitment.
Right, moving beyond just past completion to understanding the purpose. And with students, it's a balance, isn't it? Support versus boundaries.
It really is. You need to build connection, be supportive. Active listening is huge. Acknowledge their feelings, their struggles, but you also have to gently guide them back to appropriate solutions. Maintain those classroom expectations and professional lines.
Got it. And families. Sometimes support staff have unique interaction points like drop-off or pickup.
Yeah, or in specific programs. Those interactions matter. Building trust between home and school. Key things here are cultural sensitivity, respect, and, again, appropriate boundaries. Good communication can unlock really useful information about a student's world.
That makes sense. What about networking beyond the school walls?
Definitely valuable.
Yeah.
District events, professional organizations, even online groups. Connecting with other support professionals gives you perspective, new strategies, maybe even just a sounding board. Plus, you hear about openings or different pathways.
Okay, so impact, relationships. Now let's talk about personal growth. Skill development.
Can't stand still, right? Continuous learning is vital. And sometimes the best learning is right there in your building.
You mean watching other educators?
Exactly. Observe skillful teachers or even experienced support staff. What techniques are they using? How do they handle tricky situations? How could you adapt that to your role? And, importantly, ask them about it later. I noticed you did X. Could you tell me more about why?
Beyond just observation, what about formal learning? PD sessions.
Absolutely. Seek out workshops, training, learning communities. Go beyond just what's required. And don't just attend, participate actively. Think critically. How can I actually use this tomorrow in my work? That intentional application makes all the difference.
And maybe specializing if the school needs something specific.
Yes, great point. Is there a push for more tech integration, more focus on social emotional learning, maybe specific reading interventions? Developing expertise in an area of need makes you incredibly valuable. It enhances your contribution right now and, frankly, looks great for future opportunities.
It's not just the practical skills, though, is it? Like understanding the bigger educational picture.
Right, having some grounding in, say, child development or different learning theories or educational psychology. It just helps you understand the context of your work better. You can collaborate more effectively with teachers because you speak more of the same language, educationally speaking.
And this all ties into thinking about maybe advancing credentials, planning for the future.
It does. If getting a teaching license is a goal, start researching pathways now. Traditional degrees, post-bac programs, maybe specific paraprofessional to teacher tracks your district offers.
And check for financial support too, right?
Definitely. Districts often have tuition assistance, especially for high-need areas like special education or STEM. Worth investigating.
Okay, this next one might surprise some people. Leadership development in a support role. How does that work?
Yeah, people often think leadership means being the boss. But it's not just that. It's about influence and initiative, even within your defined role.
So how do you show initiative?
Anticipate needs. If you know a certain material will be needed, get it ready. If you see a potential problem with a routine, maybe suggest a small tweak. It's about being proactive, not just reactive.
Okay, and becoming a leader in student support.
That's about developing real expertise. Maybe you become the go-to person for strategies to help students with anxiety, or you really master a specific reading intervention program. You become a resource for others.
What about things like committees, school teams?
Perfect opportunity. Volunteer. Your perspective is unique and valuable. Don't just sit there, contribute thoughtfully, help find solutions. That's leadership experience right there.
And maybe helping newer colleagues. Mentoring.
Absolutely. If you have some experience, offering guidance to someone just starting out is a great way to solidify your own knowledge, practice communication skills, and, strengthen the whole team. It's a leadership function.
And providing feedback on programs, since you're often implementing them directly.
Yes, constructively, of course. If you see implementation challenges or ways something could work better for students, share those observations. Focusing on improvement, backed by your on-the-ground experience, that's leadership too.
So with all these ways to grow and lead, what are the actual career pathways people often take from these roles?
Well, teaching certification is obviously a big one, as we mentioned. Your classroom experience is a huge plus there.
But it's not the only path.
Not at all. Think about specialized support roles. Behavior specialist, instructional coach, maybe an assessment coordinator. These often require more specific training or credentials, but not always a full teaching license. They build directly on support experience.
What about coordinating programs?
Yeah, things like after-school programs, community partnerships, maybe managing volunteers. Your organizational skills and understanding of school operations gained in a support role are really valuable there.
And more administrative routes.
Definitely. Roles focused on scheduling, data management, office administration within the school or district. Your knowledge of how the place actually works is a real asset.
Any other avenues? Maybe more? Entrepreneurial?
Sure. Some people leverage their expertise into private tutoring, developing specific educational resources or materials, or offering specialized workshops for parents or other educators. Lots of possibilities once you've built that foundation.
Okay, we've covered a lot: impacts, relationships, skills, leadership, pathways. But this work can be intense. Let's talk about staying power, balance, and sustainability.
So important. This work is rewarding, but it can also be emotionally and mentally demanding. Burnout is real if you don't manage it.
Where do you start with managing it? Role clarity.
That's a big one. Stress often comes from unclear expectations. If you're not sure what your responsibilities are, or if they seem to be constantly shifting, seek clarification, politely but firmly.
And boundaries. We touched that with students, but also work hours, right?
Yes. Establishing clear boundaries around your work time, your personal time, and even the level of personal involvement you have with student situations is crucial for your own well-being. It's not about not caring. It's about protecting your ability to care long-term.
Finding your people helps too, doesn't it? Connecting with colleagues?
Immensely. Having that professional community, people who get it, is vital. Share experiences, vent frustrations constructively, swap strategies. Don't isolate yourself.
And basic self-care. Often easier said than done.
True, but non-negotiable. Enough rest, exercise, hobbies, time with loved ones, whatever recharges you. You have to intentionally build it in, otherwise the job can consume everything.
What about reflection? Taking time to process.
Yeah, finding moments for professional reflection is really helpful. Maybe brief journaling or just 5 minutes at the end of the day to think, what went well, what was challenging, what did I learn? It helps identify patterns, celebrate small wins, and see your own growth.
So, wrapping this up, the big message seems to be that these educational support roles are incredibly significant.
Absolutely. Significant impact on students and huge potential for your own growth and career development. It's not just a job. It's often the start of a really meaningful career path in education.
We hope everyone listening takes some time to think about these points, how they apply to your specific situation.
Yeah, maybe mull over what resonates most or where you see an opportunity for yourself.
And maybe, here's a final thought for you. What's one small concrete step you could take, maybe just this week?
Could be anything, right?
Yeah, maybe it's looking up that PD session or asking that teacher that question you've been meaning to ask, or just reaching out to connect with another assistant in your building.
Just one small thing. Because those consistent small actions, they really do add up over time. That's how significant growth happens.